Hey, hey, hey. Episode 3. I'm excited. I'm psyched. I'm so glad to be here. I'm hoping everyone's made it through episode 1, episode 2, and you're enjoying the ride. Little A-to-O. Great music provided by YouTube. Had a lot of trouble finding some type of, background music, stuff to play along with the show. And, there are certain rules. Probably, I guess if you don't podcast, you really don't know the process. But the reality of it is it's a money game. So, you really can't go ahead and stop playing people's music without, their prior consent or permission. And there's royalties that you have to pay out. For me, I'm fortunate. I'm not in it for the money, so the podcast doesn't generate any revenue. So I'm not paying royalties to anybody because nobody's paying any money to me. I'm not using anybody's trademark name to promote the show in any way, shape, or form. But, I thought it was a really good tune. Heard it, loved it, wanted to share it with you all. And kind of figured it'd segue into, a topic that I thought was interesting, something I thought we'd start off the episode with, kind of get the mind thinking in a different way, different process. I'm a huge fan of technology. Anybody who knows me would know that I appreciate things that are cool, things that make things easier. If you've got a better idea of doing something, or a better way of making something better, I'm all about it. I'm buying it. With that said, we're in a world today where, it's not as simple as just technology. The way technology affects everyone today is really fundamentally the way we function as a society. So, with that said, really consider the idea of, let's say, texting and driving. The advances in vaping, more and more people are vaping, more and more people are consuming, the nicotines through moisture vapor. People that smoke marijuana are not smoking marijuana, they're vaping marijuana. So, alcohol, let's throw alcohol in there, because I think that's important as well, to the point I'm going to try to make. And the point is, I think today, getting on the roads and driving down the road in your vehicle has become pretty dangerous. I think before you always had the dangers of, just the factors of driving themselves. I mean, it's a human being operating a vehicle at speeds that, I don't think we tend to comprehend, or, just lose the sense of the reality around us. But, you combine that with the distractions that we have today. My daughter just bought a 2019 RAV4, and it's got CarPlay, which is a great feature. Integrates the iPhone with the on-screen, so you're kind of really familiar, and all your functionality from your iPhone works normally. But it's just a huge distraction when you're driving. And no matter how you try, no matter how hard you try, it just becomes this distraction that is constantly in your face. Whether it's changing the song, it's not a matter of just changing the station. Now you try to find the genre. And my goodness, I get into we use the service YouTube Music because we get the whole Google package going. So we have YouTube Music, and even when I'm driving, I try to change the station, or I want to listen to another song, and just trying to find the fast forward button is challenging. And you're trying to drive, and again, shame on me because of the distracted driving thing. But you don't realize you're distracted because you're just thinking, hey, I'm just changing the station. But it's not a matter of just turning the knob anymore. It's literally a command on a PC screen. So with that, and then comes along the phone calls and the hands-free driving and all those factors. And to me, if you're asking me, should we outlaw the idea of people texting and driving? I mean, listen, I guess every state, or if not every state, has come to the point where they're applied some type of law or ordinance that would prevent you from operating or texting while you're operating a vehicle. With that said, the only thing that I've noticed is, the byproduct of that is now people are afraid of getting caught. So rather than just having the phone upright and in their face while they're driving, it's now sitting in their lap. So now so rather than help the situation where you're saying, hey, listen, it's against the law to text and drive. So if we catch you with your phone in your hand, you're going to get busted and you're going to get a ticket. So what do people do inherently? They drop the phone down into their lap, and rather than be looking straight ahead, they're looking down at their lap because they're texting and they don't want you to see them texting. Makes the situation that much worse. So which leads me to topic number 2. So let's benchmark the texting thing right now. Let's talk about vaping. This new trend that's really like just sweeping the nation. And let's not talk about the nicotine. That's a whole other conversation, a whole other topic for another show. What I want to talk about is the people that are consuming vaping or consuming THC, marijuana, in the oils and the extract of marijuana and vaping. So there are a few benefits to it, and the benefits are, one, it's fast acting, good flavor. It fairly inexpensive, and the best part is that there's no odor. So you can vape, you can do it, you can take a hit, take 2 hits, and continue on doing what you're doing. Even if you're at an event, like a family event where typically you don't want to smoke a marijuana cigarette and then stink. You get that smell so distinct. Instead, you go and you vape, and nobody's the wiser. So I think for those benefits, it's great. I said, for somebody, especially if you're a consumer of the medical marijuana product, and it makes it just real easy to carry that along with you. If you're going on vacation and you're going away, you're no longer trying to store an ounce of pot in your suitcase. You know what I mean? Now you just a little cartridge and a battery powered pen, and off you go. So I see all the benefits of that. But now the flip side of that is now you got people that are driving. They're driving down the highway, and they're vaping, and is this any different than Billy Bob driving down the highway, who just stopped after work at the liquor store and picked up a 6-pack and cracked number 6, or I should say number 1 of number 6 open, and is driving down the highway and drinking that beer? The answer is no. I don't see the difference. I think they're one and the same. And if you want to include texting in there, I would say they're 3 in the same. They're all huge distractions, and I think that we've come to a point now where there's so much of it, and I hate to use the analogy. I don't know if anybody has heard of this whole storm in Area 51, right? So power in numbers. If so many people do it all at once, they can't stop us all, right? And I think that's the kind of the situation we're in now, where people are spending so much time, fidgeting with their phones, vaping. And again, never mind the alcohol end of it. So, I would imagine the alcohol end of it is, of course, frowned upon and more, I would imagine obvious to everyone. And I apologize to anyone who may be a victim of, alcohol abuse or drunk driving, I'm not in any way, shape, condoning any of that. What I'm actually saying is, it's a terrible problem. And what at this point, what's the solution? I'm a 40+ year old man, and how old are you? And let's stop and think about the direction and the momentum that technology is carrying right now. So here we are. It's 2019. What's the world going to be like in 10 years? It's our kids who are going to be on the roads and operating vehicles. Now, my question to you is simple: are they going to be operating vehicles, or are we going to be talking about autonomous vehicles? Are we going to talk about vehicles that have the ability to get themselves from point A to point B without human intervention? You know what I mean? You get in, you type in your address, and then off you go. Tesla is pioneering this technology. They have the ability to take these vehicles, and now it's almost like a rideshare program. So you and I can go and we can purchase a Tesla outright and own the car. What they do is they also have an option where you can lease the vehicle. So, you pick the days and the times that you want it, and you share that with people. And, the cost and the expense of the vehicle now becomes a shared, because, a lot of people who may travel don't need a car 7 days a week sitting in the driveway. So, rather than have a vehicle just sitting there, they utilize it and schedule it so that, hey, look, if I need a vehicle similar to Lyft or Uber, you type it in your phone and you request it, and then, autopilot. The car comes up, pulls up in front of you, you get in it, and it drives you to the destination, while the owner of the vehicle is either at work or at home, and the vehicle is literally making money or being functional in society. It's not just sitting there taking up space. Do I think that's a great idea? I think it's an amazing idea. I think it's a different concept, and I think it's a different way of thinking. I think I think this is really what's going to shape our future, because, quite honestly, the argument or the discussion that we had earlier was the fact of we kind of looked at two substances, and one being marijuana and one being alcohol. So, I challenge a couple of things in that, and one being, someone's body mass and weight. So the law says that, the blood alcohol level in Massachusetts, I know Massachusetts, is 0.08%. And that's if you're 21 and over. If you're under 21, which is funny to me because if you're under 21, you shouldn't be drinking anyway. But if you're under 21, it's 0.02. This comes out to be one 12-ounce beer, or one 4-ounce glass of wine, or 1 ounce serving of 80 proof liquor, and that's even with a mixer. So that's what you would consume. So, and again, and I'll challenge that, because I'll say to myself, for example, I'm not a big beer drinker per se. I'm not a big a consumer of alcohol. But that said, Rachel she likes beer. She would drink. She drinks more beer than I do. So what's to say that Rachel's tolerance for a beer is it much higher than mine, right? So, she may be able to consume, let's say, 24 ounces of beer and be perfectly fine to operate a vehicle. And me, who doesn't drink very often, drinks 10 ounces of beer, and I get a buzz on, and I shouldn't be behind the wheel. So, with that, I say the same thing with marijuana. If I'm someone who smokes regularly, then I would imagine, I can say from experience, the effects of that, the marijuana isn't as potent as to someone who is never smoked before. So somebody, hey, party, we're hanging out, and Bill decides that he's going to take a hit, and who's never smoked before, is going to be definitely affected differently than the person who smokes on a regular basis. I mean, that's a no-brainer. We know that scientifically, that obviously your body grows a tolerance. So Now, Billy gets behind the wheel. He's driving down the road. He's more of a danger behind the wheel because smoking that, maybe 3 or 4 hits of a marijuana cigarette, as opposed to, the other guy who might have had 2 or 3 beers and drinks beer on a regular basis and is not intoxicated. So that's the argument. So the argument is really, to me, is all about tolerance and the ability to consume any substance, whether it be beer, alcohol, prescription medication for that matter. It doesn't really make a difference. If it impairs you or impairs your ability to operate a vehicle safely, then I think it's something that needs to be considered. So what is the solution to all this? I mean, really, like I said, I mentioned it earlier, is it we just give up our ability to operate vehicles in public domains and let the cars drive us where we need to go? Is that the world that we're looking at, where you want to go to to go on a road trip, you type in an address and off you go, and just enjoy the ride and not have to be worried? Or do we say, in order to operate a vehicle, these are the rules, and the rules are you can't consume anything. There is what's the limit? What's the limit for everybody? Because again, you get to a point where it's different for everyone. So now you're getting pulled over, roadside field sobriety tests, and trying to figure out whether or not you're intoxicated, and the legalities and all that. And by the time you're done defending yourself, even if you're not, it becomes impossible. So what is the answer to that? I don't know. Do you have the answer? I would invite you to shoot me a Twitter or a tweet or a message or a comment and let me know what you think. These are some of the things that we have to start considering. It's a generation. We are a generation that kind of lived in a world that might have not seen this technology and kind of grew with it, and as opposed to a generation like my kids that don't recognize a world without these things, without these technologies, without these abilities. So I always try to set the example when I'm driving. I make it a point that I don't drink and drive. I'm not trying to preach to anybody or pretend to be better than anybody else, but I really do make it a point to observe that, because I just don't know that, God forbid, if something were to happen, I could live with myself. So I try to completely avoid that at all costs. And, and quite honestly, my jobs, my careers that I've had were all contingent upon me having a valid driver's license. So that in itself was a motivator to say, hey, you really can't, consume these things, without consequence. So that's pretty much that on that. And I just wanted to throw that out there as the opener here today, because just really looking at these topics and stuff that I find interesting and would love to share with you and really get your opinion on what you think on some of these things. With that said, I was. If you guys follow me on Instagram or Twitter, I posted a picture of me over at First Ford in Fall River. A little backstory on that. So April 2016, I finally come to the conclusion that I've got a 1998 Ford Explorer. And I'm driving this thing. I'm working for a company that has a lot of properties in all over the state of Massachusetts. And if you've ever been to the state of Massachusetts, it's quite long, east to west wide. It's very wide state. And of course, you get the Cape in there, and that's a challenge, all by itself. So I was driving around. It was my Explorer. It was I don't want to get this right. It was a 1999 Ford Explorer all-wheel drive. I was probably getting 8 to 9 miles a gallon on this thing, and I quickly realized that it just wasn't going to work out. I really needed to pick up something more economical. So, with the job, the salary was right, and part of that salary was a vehicle stipend. So there was some benefit to it. So I realized, you know what, instead of, I really wasn't, I wasn't pocketing the extra stipend a month. What I was doing was I actually opened up a separate bank account, and I said to myself, I'm going to put this money aside, and then when I'm ready to buy something, I'll have some extra money to bargain with, with the purchase of the vehicle. So long story short, did some research, and I knew that I was going to be doing a lot of driving, so a lease was completely out of the question. I needed to buy a vehicle, and I had a Ford, and I hate to sound political in any way, shape, or form, but the whole if anybody remembers the government buyout or the payout that the government, Obama was the president, and I believe Chevrolet, and there was a couple of car companies that were going to go bankrupt, and somehow the government gave them money and kept them going, and they continued to stay in business. But I do remember that Ford Motor Company was one of the companies that didn't take any government money, and continued to operate and function as its entity, and I found that very noble. And with that said, I decided that my next vehicle that I was going to buy, I currently had a Ford. It couldn't hurt me to get another Ford. So I did the research. I looked at the F-150, fell in love with the F-150. I knew what I wanted. I wanted the Sport, wanted the XL. I didn't want to get too crazy with all the bells and whistles inside, because I really wanted to, at some point, customize the vehicle to myself. It's something that I enjoy doing. It's something that I used to do when I was younger, and love to do again. So, having something like this, a vehicle, if anybody who knows anything, typically you can buy top of the line with all the bells and whistles, but it really limits your ability to customize and do some of the things you want to do, because some of the factory options are not reversible. So in this case, I chose what I wanted. I knew exactly what I wanted. I went online, typed it in, searched everywhere, and of course, first Ford pops up, and it's and I want the 2016 F-150 in silver, and I'm looking at the Sport model, and I want a V8. I don't want to purchase the turbo. I wanted a strong engine, because I knew that I was going to be doing a lot of travel, and so right away I see it. So I if anybody's done this, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. So I make the mistake of typing in my email address and inquiring about the vehicle. And it was almost immediately that my phone, my email, texting, it completely out of control. I was getting messages from everybody. Hi, this is Luis. Hi, this is Teresa. Hi, this is Frank. We're from First Ford, and we'd love to hear from you. And we heard that you're interested in the F-150, and please give us a call, and upside down and left and right. And we have great discounts right now, and we're moving inventory. And again, it was a bombardment of just media and messaging. So, long story short, I make the call. I call, make the appointment. I take a ride down there. And I actually looked for a couple F-150s while I was there, and again, the one that I wanted, I knew exactly what I wanted, and I hate to say I already knew what I wanted when I get in there, but I knew what I wanted when I get in there. So I got in it. I told my dealer, I couldn't even tell you my dealer's name, so unimpressionable, and took the thing for a ride. Took it for a ride, felt good. I knew what I wanted. I told the dealer, obviously we negotiated. I told him I would take the truck. And of course, buying the truck, I knew that I was going to be averaging right around, say, 2,000 to 2,200 miles a month. So just a grotesque amount of mileage. So with that said, I knew that the service was going to be very important. I needed a service package with this thing. So I signed up for the, I believe it's the First Ford customer a program. So I paid a little premium up front, and then what they do is they give me as long as I maintain my scheduled maintenance with them, they would maintain my warranty and give me engine protection for life. So no matter what, they'll protect the engine. So with that said, it's very important, because without that commitment, I don't go to First Ford anymore. But because I'm in bed with them with this warranty, I have been diligent in getting my services and being there on time. With that said, So I buy the truck, get the deal, take off of the lot with it, and right off the bat I notice the truck's got like a mild shimmy to it. I think nothing of it. Thing's brand new. I think it had 16 miles when I picked it up. So you expect it's a brand new truck. Things are tight. Things are going to work themselves in, and so forth. So I'm driving the truck. So I take it 5,000 miles. And now they want the truck because they want to do the 5,000 mile service on it. And I believe they changed the oil. They want to rotate the tires, balance the wheels. It's kind of like this, 5,000 mile kind of break-in period. Check it out. So, long story short, it came real quick. Excuse me. It came real quick. I was doing a lot of driving. So, I bring it in for that first service, and I was really excited about it because I was enjoying the truck. Mentioned a couple of issues that I was having with it. I mentioned like the shimmy shake. Again, you're paying this amount of money for a truck. I really don't want it to be shaking and shimmying on the highway. So they, again, they look at it and they rotate the tires, and I get the phone call, and they actually gave me a loaner vehicle because I needed a loaner vehicle, and I go back and I drop off the loaner vehicle. I get in my truck, and I drive home, and I get home, I pull in the driveway, and I believe we were having spaghetti and meatballs that night, and we didn't have spaghetti sauce. So, I got a text message, hey, can you get spaghetti sauce? So, of course, I just got my brand new truck. No problem. I hop in my new truck, and I drive over to the Common, and I get spaghetti sauce. Well, at the time, they were doing some type of renovations to the Common. They were putting in like a tin roof, and apparently they used like these ridiculous razor blades, and one of the razor blades happened to be in the parking lot. Now, mind you, I just picked up my truck from the 5,000 mile service, and when I went there, so I get out, I get in my truck, and I drive out of the parking lot. As I'm driving home, I get the dreadful ding ding on the dashboard, and it says low tire pressure. I'm like, low tire pressure? What the hell? So I'm literally 2 minutes away from the Common. My house is right down the road. I pull in my driveway. I go up my driveway. I'm in front of the driveway, and I get out of the truck, and I can hear the hissing from the tire. And I'm like, oh my God, what is this? And I go over, and sure enough, there's a razor blade sticking out of the side of the tire. Clearly, that I had run over from the Common. So, long story short, I immediately call Ford. Hey, listen, I got the wheel and tire package for life program. This happened to me. And they're like, all right, well, bring the truck down. We'll take a look at it. And so I work it all out. The day's not important. There was a couple of days in between. So finally I bring the truck down. The tire wasn't available. They ended up getting a tire for me. And then they call me and say, hey, it's all ready if you want to come down. So I'll come down, sit around, and they go ahead and I guess what they did is, because of the tire, it's the 22-inch wheels, so they wanted to balance them. So they put them on the balancing machine and balance them all, and they throw them on my truck. I get in my truck, I drive home, pull in my driveway, and I'm saying to myself, you know what, let me just clean the truck up. I just got it. I want to clean it up. I want to make it look nice. And so I put a bucket of soap and get everything ready, and I go over and I go to wash the rims, and I'm looking at the rims, and I can see this black scuff right around where the lug nuts are, this black scuff. And these are 22-inch aluminum wheels. They're really, really sharp. They're factory Ford wheels. Was one of the major reasons why I bought the truck. And I'm looking, and I grab the scrub brush, and I go to kind of clean it, thinking, maybe it's just dirt. And I realize that it's not dirt, that it's actually dug into the aluminum in the wheels from whatever they did at the dealership when they were balancing the wheels. They didn't put the guard on it. They actually just screwed it to the machine. And when they did so, they scuffed all the wheels. So, of course, frustrated and angry, I call the dealership. They're like, oh, you need to bring the truck down. So, of course, it's a time-sensitive thing because, now it's my word against theirs that, how this happened. And I don't want them thinking for 1 second that I did this. So I have my truck right down. I fly all the way down there, and then I meet with the service manager. So he comes out and looks at it and looks at me, and he's like, well, I can't tell if that was us or if that. I said, whoa, I stopped him. I said, stop right there. I said, are you insinuating in any way, shape, or form that I did that to the rim? I said, the truck was just here. I just left service here. I said, you're going to tell me right now I drove from here to my home less than 12 minutes away. I said, and you're going to say that I damaged these wheels? I said, no. I said, these wheels were damaged on your machine. His rebuttal's response to me was, well, sir, we have the most sophisticated equipment here. I replied to him, and that's fine. I believe that. I said, but if the people who are operating that equipment doesn't know what they're doing, then it doesn't matter how sophisticated the equipment is. It's not going to be done right. And clearly, whoever operated your balancing machine doesn't know what they're doing because they damaged my rims. So I demand that my rims get replaced. So long story short, they fought me on it. It was a little bit of struggle, but what they ended up doing is this slick. What they ended up doing is they took my truck, they took identical four wheels off another truck, put them on my truck, and just sent me out the door, and they just dealt with the wheels on their own, which is fine with me. I don't give a shit what you did. I got my wheels back the way that they were, and ever since then, every time I go in there, I always make sure that, I bring the service advisor outside with me, and we do a once-over, and I recommend that you do that as well. Anytime you go to the dealership for service, make sure that they go outside with you and you do a walk around your vehicle, because I'll tell you what, man, the way they treat these vehicles in there is ridiculous, and this Saturday when I dropped my vehicle off was no different. There's a whole backstory to this truck and just, and I'm not a difficult person. I try to be the most easiest person in the world, because the last thing I want to do is be in any situation where I have anxiety or I'm caused anxiety. You bring this thing down there, and you think that you're dropping it off, and you're gonna get the best service. Like, I don't know, what am I thinking, right? I'm a customer like everybody else. I'm not special. So they got these kids working in these mechanic shops, and they're not looking at quality. They're looking at quantity. I was down there this Saturday, no different than any other experience I've had there. Because if I could spend the whole episode literally talking about First Ford and how terrible my service has been there, but just this Saturday, I called ahead of time. Made the appointment for 9:30 in the morning. My son had a soccer tryout. So at 7:30. So I'm like, you know what? I'll drop him off first, and then after I drop him off, I'll take a ride over there. And what does it matter if I'm early? I'm dropping the truck off early. They're going to keep it anyway. And then my wife will meet me there and bring me home. So it would all work out. So long story short, I get there, and I must have just got in. It was like 8:00 in the morning. They just opened the doors to the service department. And believe the girl behind the counter that was taking care of me, his name was Rebecca. Whatever. And so first thing she asked me is if I knew the exact mileage, and the answer was no. I'm like, I knew I got like 70,000 miles on the truck. I wasn't sure. So she seemed a little annoyed by that. So immediately she kind of walks out the door with my key. She said, can I have the key? She walks out the door with the key, and as she's walking out the door, it's all bay windows there, and I could see it. Right out of her pocket, she pulls out her vape and starts to vape the whole way there. So she's smoking her vape all the way to my truck to get the mileage. Gets the mileage, vapes all the way back, comes in. Now she stinks like strawberry melon. I don't even know what it was. And there's this gentleman, or I should say a customer that came in, customer that came in on the side of me, and there was another service advisor there, this guy just sitting there slouching in his seat. And I hear the gentleman say to him, while Rebecca's typing my information in, hey man, can I get an oil change? And the service advisor looks at him and says, no way, bro. He's like, I got like 15 appointments here, and that's just before 12 o'clock, and I got 4 technicians, and there's no way I'm ever going to, if you want to come back at 3 o'clock, and the guy's like, no, man. He's like, I need an oil change. I need it now. I can't be coming back at 3 o'clock. He's like, well, there's nothing I can say. So the guy reluctantly, and as he's in the middle of this, I realized that I'm early with my appointment, and I actually said to Rebecca, and I said it loud enough so they could hear it, and I said, hey, Rebecca, I'm not in any rush for my truck. So if you guys want to just, you can keep it for the day and I can get it later, hoping that this guy would be like, well, since we'll have the time, since he's offering it, then maybe we can give this guy. But they never offer it to him. They just let the guy walk out the door, and it was just business as usual for them. The irony in all this is as funny as that. I dropped off my truck. It was like 8:00 in the morning. They tell this poor bastard he can't have an oil change. And it was 9:30 in the morning, right? My appointment was scheduled for 9:30. I got a phone call at 9:30 in the morning that my truck was ready. So it was done. They did the service. They did the oil. They did whatever it is they had to do. at 9:30. So long story short and all this, they had the truck an hour and a half early. They were able to do the work early. They could have got that guy come in and get his oil change, but they're so programmed to say no and to just not do it. That it's terrible, and that's been my experience there. I've been that guy who came in and needed an oil change because I happen to be in that area, and it made just economical sense for me to stop in and say, hey, is there a way you guys could sneak in an oil change for me? You know what I mean? So I've been there, and I've been that guy, and I've been the guy being told that no, you can't get an oil change. So it's very frustrating. It frustrates me, and I would imagine that anybody would be frustrated when you think you're making a commitment like that to anyone. When you purchase something for that much money, you'd like to think that the people you're buying the product from, or the brand like Ford Motor Company, would really back up, their product and provide you with the best customer service, that they're good. But unfortunately, man, that place sucks. It just absolutely sucks. And I tell you guys, this is just a small little story. I mean, when I tell you that hours upon countless hours that I've spent struggling and fighting with them, with issues that I had with the truck that turned out to be all Ford related stuff. I mean, I ended up paying out of pocket to fix it myself, but ultimately every issue that I had with the truck was a defect that the truck had that just Ford refused to address or even admit that they were responsible for. Like even I told her, like I got an alert, and this I'll finish the whole Ford thing with this for today anyway. Is I had a recall on my truck, and it says, it was funny because I had brought it in for service because it was a really cold winter day, and I opened my passenger door, and then I went to close I got the extended cap, so I got the suicide doors. I went to close the door, and it wouldn't close. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? So I'm trying to close it, and I realized, oh, wait a minute, I think there's water in here, and it's getting in the cable, freezing the cable, and therefore I can't close the door. So I bring it in for service, and I explain and I'm still in my baby stage warranty, so this is like factory warranty, no argument, you know what I mean? There's nothing to argue about. I haven't had the truck long enough for it to be a problem. And the guy says to me, it could be cardboard. I'm like, cardboard? I'm like, how the hell would cardboard get in there? He says, oh, from the factory, when they pack the doors, sometimes there's cardboard that gets jammed up in there. I said, oh, well, whatever it is, fix it. So they had the truck. I mean, they had the thing all day. Finally, I go to pick it up, and he says to me, oh, yeah, we ended up finding cardboard that was notching the door, and it was causing it to latch like that. I'm like, all right, fine. Well, of course, the next day, it was another below zero day in New England. And we get plenty of those, and the door wouldn't lock again. So I knew right away that it wasn't the cardboard, and it was another issue. I just didn't know exactly what it was. And then, of course, I get this recall. But anyway, to the point I'm trying to make here is I told Rebecca that, hey, listen, Rebecca, I got a recall. And she says to me, well, we're not going to be able, really, like, not even willing to discuss it with me and what the dangers are and what the recall is. The first thing she says is, we're not going to be able to do that today because that's like a 4-hour job. We're going to have to order the part. I'm like, Rebecca, that's fine. I said, I just wanted to make you aware, or maybe we can schedule a time that I can come back to. Again, you know what? It probably sucks to have to work on a Saturday. You know what? Let me correct that. It sucks to work on Saturday. I worked Tuesday to Saturday shift for like 15 years. I didn't have a Monday through Friday shift. I had to work a Tuesday to Saturday shift. It was part of my job. It was what I was obligated to do, and I did it. And although it sucked, it didn't mean that I was an asshole on Saturdays. I wasn't an asshole on Tuesdays. I treated people with dignity and respect every day. When I was working, I was working. It didn't matter that it was not anyone's fault that I had to work on a Saturday. So in this case, so if I come to you on a Monday, it sucks. I come to you on a Tuesday, it sucks. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and now even Saturdays, it sucks. Why? Because you're shorthanded. Like I don't get it. I don't understand how a company or a dealership, right? Because Ford this dealership's making millions of dollars, right? I mean, I can only imagine what the salary looks like in this place, and they can't find one person in there that has any pride or cares about their job and what they're doing and the product that they're selling. The answer is absolutely no. It's no. And I'm open-minded, and I like to give everybody a chance. It's an absolutely no. I don't know if they're so big it doesn't matter or whatever the case may be, but I can tell you right now, and I don't know if anybody from First Ford or anyone would ever listen to my podcast or any point get into any of this, but I am so anti-First Ford and disappointed with Ford and the product and the service that I get there. You know what? Let me take that. Let me take that back. Not the product. I love my truck. I really enjoy my truck, and the modifications that I've made as a consumer to make the truck comfortable has made it good for me. I enjoy the truck now, but the actual service end of it with Ford and with First Ford was absolutely terrible. And someone asked me, "Hey, why don't you go to another Ford dealership?" Right? It's a Ford truck, and the answer is like I'm in bed with First Ford because I bought all my warranties through them, the extended warranties, and nobody else will honor them. So that's kind of why I'm stuck going there, and I'll continue to go there until I need to. But it is what it is. So there's really nothing I can do about that. So that's my first Ford story, and that kind of explains my dreadful experience there and why I really never look forward to going to that place. And I try to avoid it as much as possible. But I'm guaranteed I got to be there every 6,000 miles for my oil change. So I do the best I can. Although I will tell you that there is a service advisor. Her name is Tracy, and if I can ever get her on the phone, she's very nice to me on the phone, and typically helps me get my service appointment and treats me well. But I know that for a fact that they have some notes in there when they pull my name up on the account on the computer. They got a bunch of notes there with my name and my incidents and the situations that I've had, and somehow I'm an asshole because it looks like I'm the jerk that I don't know, because they damaged my rims and they were forced to replace them, somehow makes me look like an asshole, and I got notes in the computer like I'm some kind of jerk. So I don't take it personal. I just think it's terrible that they do things like that. And no matter who I talk to there, when they pull up the computer, it's like they form an opinion because someone decided to write notes in there that I was a little upset about them damaging my rims. But it is what it is. I'm not picking on anybody. I'm kind of happy that I have my truck, and it's been really good to me, and it continues to work well for me. So it's good. It's good. It's good. So I'm glad we kind of talked about that for a little bit. It's like I said, I'm trying to incorporate some of the Twitter and some of my real life experience with the show, and kind of really bring it to life so that it's interesting for you, and you have some type of feel for what I'm going through. So I on a lighter note, kind of switching gears here. We're like 40 minutes into the show, and what I wanted to do is I have a great relationship with my best friend. My best friend is my wife, Rachel, and I don't want to sound sappy or bore anyone or bring anyone the gigglies, but for me, it's an amazing ride with her, and we have the wonderful journey. Spending, I should say, the wonderful time of spending this journey together, and really enjoy each other's company. And I had a small clip. I was kind of really talking about this is pre the actual first podcast of the Bobby Couto show, and I was just really trying to get a feel for conversation, and I was trying to record certain things, and I was using the media to get used to using like the software and the programs that I need to use to produce the podcast itself. So with that said, I got this clip of the two of us having a conversation, and just to really like kind of set this up a little bit, like I like to call this the Rachel segment, and it's a couple of minutes. I think it's not even it's a couple minutes. But the funny part about this is what I'm doing is just to kind of set this up for you guys so you get a picture of what's going on here. Is I'm looking at my phone, I'm on my Instagram, and again, this is pre the Bobby Couto show. This is like, we're in the infancy stages of thinking about it. I'm kind of going through my phone, I'm going through Instagram, and I forget what the picture was, but I know that it was a young lady, and it was like some type of injury to her hand, and whether it was a sport injury or whatever it was. And I reach over to Rachel, and I show her my phone, and I say to her, and I said, "Hey, look at this. I wonder what that is." And she makes some cockamamie like response, like to the point where like she's supposed to know what it is. And then of course I respond with her like, "Well, you play a doctor." So long story short, it kind of sets up this dialogue that her and I have, which is absolutely pointless and goes nowhere. But I just thought like the hilarious in it is, where we end up and what we talk about. And I want to share that a little bit with you, just to kind of give you an idea of what we're like, and and just so you know where some of these crazy ideas come from. They really stem from these conversations that I have normally. So this will give you a good idea
you
of
can
our
hear it
relationship
again and decide
me
whether or not
and
you
of her as well. So
you want to know whether or not you're going to keep it.
I told you what parts to get rid of. I am completely fine with everything I said. That's how I am. Except those two things.
But maybe if you heard it again, you might think like I can keep some of it.
No.
That's so fucked up, huh?
What?
Oh, what is that?
What's what? What are you showing me?
Her hands.
She might have some congenital disease, poor thing. It's all right.
I'm asking you.
I don't know what the fuck it is.
I was asking you.
What the fuck I look like? A doctor?
Well, I guess you try to play one, but... No.
Did you say you think I try to play one?
Did you?
You're the one that fucking...
you know what?
I will leave you for Liam Cash Dollar.
Listen
because
closely.
he's like, hello,
if
beautiful.
We were on the
Look it, motherfucker.
Listen,
say
stop.
It. I'm gonna,
hold on,
right
stop.
What?
If we were on the Appalachian Trail,
oh, for fuck's sake,
we wouldn't die from a bacterial disease because I would make sure that we were clean. I would have hydrogen peroxide.
I'm clean all by myself. The fuck, I need you to be clean.
You wouldn't give me credit for saving us on the Oregon Trail?
Oregon Trail? The game?
Yeah, the game. If we were playing it, do you think we would make it with me?
No one survives the Oregon Trail.
That's not true.
Are you kidding me? Did you not see American Dad?
People win.
American Dad played Oregon Trail and everyone died. No one can survive the Oregon Trail.
They
game.
do at the end. They win.
No one wins.
They make it.
Oh, all right. Well, that's a cartoon. That's not real.
It's real. You can win the game. I've won. You've never won Oregon Trail?
I really never played
You've never won Oregon
Trail? I've never
Trail?
played it.
Like you've never played Where in the World Is Coming, San Diego?
I really know. I remember the cartoon, though. Who was that on Channel 2?
Who are you?
I am Rachel. Superhero.
You say superhero?
Why not? Not all heroes wear capes.
What superhero?
I have no clue.
What would you be?
I don't know.
What superpower would you have?
Tolerance.
That's pretty good. That was good. That was really good, actually. I wouldn't. That was one of those, man. I wouldn't have suspected that one.
Right?
You would have gave me a list. I would have put a bunch of stuff on there. That wouldn't have been one of them.
No, so not Family Feud dinging.
Well. Does that apply when you're driving?
Tolerance?
Yeah.
When I
Are
drive?
you tolerant when you drive?
No,
because we're going to be honest about that right now. Like,
what do you?
You're not tolerant when you drive.
No,
You're everything. Okay, so doesn't that just debunk what you just said? You would be a superhero except when you drive. I am tolerant all of the times except when I'm behind the wheel. When Jesus takes the wheel, I have no tolerance.
No, I don't. Jesus, get the fuck out the way. Move. No.
That shit's funny, man. Tolerance.
Yeah, well, I drive. Yeah, people just fucking are stupid.
I would be my superhero power.
Oh, let me hear your superpower. Oh, please,
I would...
Bobby Couto. Let me hear what superpower you think you would have.
You know what? I'm not going to tell you. And I'm not going to say it because you're making fun of me.
No.
You don't even... All right. Then what am I going to say? Again. I want to hear. Rachel, if somebody was going to say I'm a superhero, what would they say? What superhero would I be? What would be my superpower?
Not quite sure. What do you got?
I was going to say something like Mr. Fix-It.
I was thinking Mr. Fix-It.
Like I come, little old lady with a little walker, and I come swooping in. Hello, Mrs. Wilson. Don't worry, I'm gonna fix
Mrs.
you.
Wilson.
Yeah,
Listen to you.
I'm gonna fix your.
Fix a what? What the fuck you fixing?
I'm gonna fix her cable. She's got snowy pig. She's got
Matrix.
She's got digital tiling. She's got digital tiling. I'm gonna fix her
She can't
TV.
fucking tell through the cataracts. What the fuck would it matter?
She has a roof leak in her RV. I'm gonna fix it.
Oh, there you go.
There it is.
There it is.
There it is.
You're all set.
She has carbon monoxide leak.
Good thing she was outside.
See, I'm gonna fix it. I fixed it. I see Mrs. Wilson. I see Mrs. Wilson.
Well, just keep her outside and she's fine.
That's somebody's grandmother. You can't keep them
I
outside.
don't know the Wilsons.
That's
Well,
somebody.
we'll have her over.
Somebody's grandmother.
Well, they should really take better care of her.
And you know what? Where is everybody? Where the fuck is everybody? Why is this woman all by herself anyway?
Exactly.
Well, maybe, you know what? Maybe everybody died. Maybe she's the last one left.
Did she kill them?
No.
Hey, maybe Mrs. Wilson.
She's like 90. She outlived everybody.
Because she killed them. Figure that?
No, I can't really.
You can't believe that
No,
about
because that's
Mrs.
somebody's
Wilson.
grandmother. I can't talk about somebody's grandmother
She's
like
not
that.
anybody's grandmother because they're all dead.
I'm not comfortable.
So clearly, you could see what makes our relationship work. Clearly, we enjoy each other's company. We speak freely, and we're not afraid to laugh at ourselves, especially when we're talking about things that absolutely make no sense and have no reality. Guys, again, I and ladies, and I just, I play things like that, and I thought it was just, quite honestly, I was listening to it again and just laughing hysterically, tears in my eyes, because, even though these conversations mean nothing and they're just, they're playful and they just show a softer side of ourselves that, hey, look, we're not uptight, we're okay, and we can laugh at ourselves. Then we're good. So I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I enjoyed having that conversation, and I'm hoping that in the future, moving forward, maybe at some point we can bring Rachel in and we can have some live dialect back and forth. I assure you that not all our dialect is as stimulating and as hilarious as that, but typically we always have a good time and enjoy laughing and sharing our ideas. So here we are, we're 52 minutes into the show, and again, I don't want to get too far in and get too far gone. I try to make these probably around an hour an episode. I think anything more than that is you're asking a lot of your audience, and I really want everyone to have the time to appreciate the show from start to finish, and enjoy it and really absorb it. So really picking and choosing the product and what we're talking about, and what I'd like to share with you guys, and honestly what stimulates some of the conversation. So with that, I'm going to sign off today, but I want to just kind of get a couple of questions out to the fans of the show. We're doing real well on Spotify. We're doing great on podcast. Podbean, we're doing real well. We're doing really good there as well. I'm really proud of the show. Granted, we're 3 episodes in, and I mean, again, I can only imagine it's only going to get better. Be honest with you guys, my technical skills and editing and putting this stuff together is only getting better every time. I'm trying new things. I'm trying to add some clips in, like today. Bringing in the clip from a previous time in the show, and if you hadn't noticed, the beginning of the episode kind of mixed in some live music and kind of have a dialogue along with the music, and trying to make the show more vibrant. And and one thing I'd like to say to everyone is, you guys are all here for this is the ground floor, this is the beginning. And I really appreciate everybody giving me your undivided attention and listening to the show and supporting the show, and really giving me a platform to be able to do something like this. This is just, I got to be honest with you, like an amazing experience. I'm loving every minute of it. When I'm not sitting here, talking into the microphone, I'm thinking about what I want to say and what I want to put out there. But again, I don't want to overtake my time, and I just want to leave everybody with a couple of questions. And the questions are, all right, so here's the first one, right? Because I struggle with this one, and I heard it once before, and it kind of, you know what? I stopped doing it because I heard it, and this is okay. So the rule is, once you turn 30, okay, 30, you no longer can wear your baseball cap backwards. That's it. You can't wear it backwards. It's kind of like, hey, bro, you can't buy a Jeep because midlife crisis. You know what I mean? You can't wear your hat backwards. How do you feel about that? Me, I wore my hat backwards today. I enjoy it, but I am self-conscious about it because now I've heard that. So if anybody else has heard that as well, can you share that with me? If you think it's bullshit, let me know, because I'd like to feel better about it. And the other thing is, the other question, right, is this one. Swagger, where is it? What happened to it? I know that there was a short period of time where swagger was important. A gentleman would have some swagger. There were some artists out there that oozed swagger. It seems like swagger is gone. Nobody has swagger anymore. Listen, guys, I'm in my 40s. I think swagger packed its bags a long time ago. I'm talking a generation out there right now. The media platform, the music. Is it Drake? Does Drake have swagger? Is that who? Maybe. I don't know. I know Nas X doesn't have any swagger. That dude is lucky to have what he has. I mean, a song like that, and then to be able to walk on stage with leather pants, leather chaps, and a leather vest. Credit to you, my man. Credit to you. You're winning everywhere. That man is winning everywhere. So hats off to him. I'll be honest with you. I play that song, and my family laughs at me. But if you don't know, all right. I hope I'm enlightening you right now. If you don't know, Nas X, that song, Old Time Road or Country Road, the actual beat and rhythms was an actual royalty free kind of. It was a website, you could develop and you could produce these beats and rhythms, and you put them out there, and it's almost like a cloud share type platform. And Nas X came across that beat and rhythm, and then of course he wrote his own lyrics and applied it to that song, and then of course it is what it is today, and what you hear, obviously the number one song in the world for weeks and weeks and weeks, and as crazy as it sounds, I know the song's a little hokey. I love hearing it because it shows me that there's a possibility out there that what, here's Nas X, somebody who no one knew who he was, no one knew his name, no one knew anything about him, and he was able to put something out there that just kind of blew up, and people just took it and just digested it and indulged it and embraced it, and everywhere. The song is everywhere. You can't go down the road without hearing it play. So to me, it's an inspiring story that there's still a chance that, maybe, who knows, maybe it could be me, maybe it could be you, but there's a chance out there that it's not just for the rich and the famous and the people that have all the money and influence in Hollywood, that the today's technology and media platforms like YouTube and Spotify and the growth of podcasting gives us all the ability to share our content in hopes that you can capture an audience, capture people that want to listen and care about what you have to say and share your ideas and your opinions. But ultimately, just having a product and a real great show that you could share content and entertainment, because ultimately I want to entertain people. I want to give people something they want to hear, something that they enjoy. So with that said, guys, I think we're real close to the end here. We're going to be signing off. But again, those couple of questions that I leave you with: can you wear your hat backwards after 30? And who is swagger right now? Who is swagger? You know what I mean? Like, who's got it? And I'm talking legit swagger, not just swagger. Anybody can say they have swagger. I'm talking legit swag. Who's got it? You know, who's out there who has it? Because I need to know who it is. I think we're missing our swagger hero. You know what I mean? You know what? You got the Mr. Fix It hero. I'm here. And you got superhero Tolerance. Although she's sleeping now, she's always ready for the call. So watch the roads because she's tolerant. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I did. I just want to really just tell everyone thank you very much. I'm episode 3. I can't wait for episode 4. Please, if you haven't done so already, please give us a hit onto it. Give us a hit on Instagram. Give us a hit on Facebook. Any support that you can give us. I do a lot of research in podcasting, and one of the main support groups that you can have for a podcast is its audience, and people will always appreciate word of mouth. And if you, my fans, my subscribers, if you guys are telling your friends and you're telling your family about the show, and then that just means that we get more and more listeners, and we're really getting just more and more platform, and the show can grow and get better and better, and who knows what's next. But again, I don't want to take up too much of anybody's time. I just want to say thanks again to everybody, and make sure you hit us up on the media platforms, on the social media. Hit up the show. Questions, comments, please. Your review is always appreciated. 5 stars, love 5 stars, and give us the support we need to continue, that I need to continue giving you the Bobby Couto show. So with that said, guys, thank you very, very much. I hope you guys have an awesome Monday. It is going to be Monday, and we're all looking towards Friday, but enjoy it. Enjoy the week. Hopefully we'll get a podcast in between now and then, and we'll talk again, and have a great day. And remember, everybody, all roads lead here.